Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. and welcome to another board game upgrades and deluxification video. As usual, this particular video series is sponsored by Top Shelf Gamer. They send a variety of products, and if you use the link down below, you'll get not only a discount, there'll be a discount code down below for the next, 2 weeks or so, but also will help with the show because it is a referral link, so that helps with the show as well. Top Shelf Gamer has a ton of things you can go ahead and check out, from deluxified resources to metal coins to inserts. I'm going to be showing you some of those things. I'm going to be showing you an insert for Bitoku from them, as well as metal coins and deluxified resources in Antike Duellum. We'll talk about those, as well as links to everything else down below. But with that, let's go ahead and start this off. And today we have 5 things as usual. I usually try to go somewhere between 4 and 6, but it's usually 5. I usually aim for 5 things to show you in every one of these videos. And to that end, we have an insert for Bitoku. We have an insert for Zombicide, Undead or Alive, or specifically this is actually an insert from Tinkering Paws, which are very cool inserts. I'll have a few of them to show you over the next few videos. We have some deluxifications for War of the Rings. Those are going to be fun to look at from Evil Toymaker, I believe. Then we have some upgraded and deluxified Antike Duellum, as well as an upgraded copy of Seize the Bean. And we're going to start off with Seize the Bean over here. In general, sometimes I show you ways you can upgrade your game, which will be true for the rest of these, and sometimes I just show you deluxified games as well, which in the case of Seize the Bean, I don't think I've shown this one on the channel before. I may have, maybe I'm mistaken, but this is a deluxified copy from their Kickstarter that they had over here, including this very linen playmat type of situation over here. This is a very nice feel to it overall as far as playmats, and most importantly, it folds up and fits in the box very nicely without leaving any creases because of the nature of the material. This is actually a very similar style material that you may have seen before in Flamecraft. Flamecraft has a style material as well in their game, and it does a good job of it's not necessarily as good as a neoprene mat, as a mousepad type style for the pure feel of it, but it is good for fitting up and folding up into a box. But with that, let's go ahead and see what we have over here. We have a ton of different decks to mix in. This is going to be a little bit of a deck builder experience as you manage and run a coffee shop, and there's a ton of different tourists and decks you can kind of mix into the experience. But the thing I want to show you is, first of all, this little deluxified little piece of, look at that. Look at this thing over here. This is going to be your pot of hot chocolate, I assume, because that's way too dark to be coffee. But more importantly, we have another cup that's not quite as full. This one has a little bit of a coffee stain in the bottom, so just enough for you. But I think we have more cups. I don't believe we have more cups. We have a scoop over here, which is actually part of the playing experience. We're going to talk about that shortly, as well as various deluxified resources, including some beans that I've gotten out over here, which I'm going to show you that in a second. I'm wondering if I did show this on camera before. If I did show this, I showed it a long time ago. And also some of these over here. I want to find all the cool stuff to show you before we put it all to the side. I have vague recollections of showing this on camera before. If I have, I apologize. Sometimes I forget some things. But either way, let's show you some. I'll show you some coffee beans first, because we got all these coffee beans in a bag over here, and it is exactly what it looks like. They are coffee beans. See this bag over here? That's a bag full of coffee beans, as you can see over here, as we just pour coffee beans into our hand over here. And no, it's not actual coffee beans, but we will take these and pour these into a cup over here, because we can go ahead, and I can't recall if you pull it from the bag or the cup, but you're going to have an actual mechanic where you can scoop coffee beans from the cup as fast as you possibly can, trying to gather a scoop of beans with the scooper. There's a bit of a dexterity mechanic. You don't have to use that. You can just count out the beans instead, but it has a small little element of scooping just to more flavorfully add to your gameplay. That's going to be what we have over here. These are going to be the beans, but we're not done yet, because in addition to the beans, we have more stuff. We have pistachio beans, I guess. I'm sure they're not actually pistachio beans. What are pistachio? Pistachio, like, nuts are different, but let me show you what I'm talking about over here. This is going to be coming to you from the expansion over here. We have a few different things. We have these sugar cubes, or brown sugar cubes, I guess. We have brown sugar cubes over here, which are delightful little cubes of, I assume, brown sugar or raw sugar perhaps. Then we have these containers of milk over here, as well as these beans, which are a little different styling over here. Don't know if they're matcha or what they are as far as actually supposed to represent. I've not played this game or the expansion. I've read the rules for this game a few times. I've not actually sat down and played it yet, which I really should try to get done. But we also have, in these bags, we have more stuff, because we don't just have coffee beans. We also have little bags of milk over here. So, once again, over here, we got bags of milk that you can use, because again, cute little deluxified components all around that fit nicely and zip up into these bags over here. Speaking of which, I should probably pull this bag closed as well. Make sure those stay in this time, because they did not seem to have done quite as well staying in. And the last bag is regular sugar over here. So we got sugar, but just regular sugar, not, the brown sugar or whatnot. Basically, you have variants of all your basic resources, from milk to sugar to beans, giving you slight variations to them in the gameplay experience. With that, we're going to put these back in the box, making sure everything fits back nicely in, because I hope I can make this all work, because I don't know exactly how it came out. But Let's put these in here. Let's put our cups in, our scooper in, as well as our resources in here. And then this will all go down in here somehow-ish as we put it back. And that's going to be Seize the Bean, which I still want to play and still have not played, even though I've read the rules for this like 3 times for it. But we'll get to it eventually. These things will happen. A while ago I did a video of 10 games I really want to get tabled, and I was like, maybe I'll play Seize the Bean tonight. I just finished the rulebook that day. It did not happen. Anyways, with that, let's go ahead and dive into a top shelf game. Let's see if we can mix things up. Let's do an insert and then non-insert. Let's jump around a bit. So let's show you the Bitoku insert for this over here. Bitoku is another game that I've read the rules for and not played. I've played some of these games. I've played Antike Duellum a lot. I've played Zombicide, Undead, or Alive a lot. I have not played War of the Ring, although it almost happened this weekend. There was a chance. There was a chance it was going to happen this weekend, but it did not. But over here we have Bitoku with a Top Shelf Gamer insert, or more specifically, I should say, a folded space insert, which Top Shelf Gamer carries. So over here, we're going to take all these things off the top over here and show you how the insert operates, because we have these, and we have these down here, and then we have the actual board stored in here, as well as, ooh, that board's fitting in tightly there. Let's see if we can get that out. Perfect. And then we have the actual containers where everything is. And fun fact, this is going to be one of Folded Space's art on the inserts, which means I messed up a little bit on 2 or 3 of the containers. You see, this container over here, I don't think it matters for this one, but this one, strictly speaking, I believe you're supposed to have the Bitoku on the inside, not on the bottom. So that little fun Bitoku there should be on the inside. I constructed it on the bottom, which for this one doesn't matter so much. But when you're doing something like this, the reason you have that is you have something like this insert here, where you're supposed to be showing people what is on the bottom, and instead I put it on the, well, bottom. So that did not work quite as efficiently. I decided not to fix them and just go with it as is, but to give you an example of how you're supposed to actually do that, you can see over here, if I pull these out, these tokens over here, you can see these tokens are the tokens that go into that container. So instead of having to turn over all your inserts, you can very easily see what goes where as you're doing it. Which again, in my case, I only messed up with like 1 compartment that actually matters, which means it should be easy enough for me to follow. But this over here is your insert. We're going to pull these off to the side so you can see everything nicely as we go through it. More tokens for the game. I have these stored in a baggie here. Strictly speaking, you're supposed to be putting them into the actual containers, but I find that messy. I might store them on the bottom in the future. I don't know. I don't love it in there. So I right now have them stored in that container, which works until I sleeve my cards, in which case it will not work once I do that. We have our resource tray in the center over here, just being able to be pulled out as you need, as well as all the individual player trays down here. So if I want to pull out any one player tray, I can just go ahead and pull that out. We have all our dice, our tokens, all our components for all the players in an area. And again, these are themed inserts, so you can see on the side and the color. You can even see the color of the insert compared to the others over here. So again, they give that extra level of art. This is something that Folded Space is experimenting with, adding more assets to the various inserts as they do them, working with the companies when they do so, because fun fact about how things work in, well, life in general, in theory, there's nothing wrong with, although I wonder about the names. I have to be mindful of, I don't know actual law in any typical sense, but effectively, I believe Folded Space is within its rights to create an insert for any game, period. But if you want to use the assets for the game, then you'll work with the company. You maybe give them a kickback, maybe not, I don't know, but you work with the company and they work with you, giving you the rights to the actual art. Art is the thing that's going to be copyrighted. It's going to stop you from making an insert, that has actual assets. But I think there's nothing wrong with building an insert, and I don't think the company can do anything about it. If you advertise using the name, maybe. This is where I'm not actually sure about how all these rules work as far as copyright law and all those things, which is why you should not trust my channel for legal advice. Go to Legal Eagle for that. Legal Eagle is a fun YouTuber who is a YouTuber and a lawyer who talks about, legal stuff that you might want to know about just for your own sureness of things or stuff. I don't know. But not that I recommend him necessarily for legal advice either. Honestly, I don't know well enough as far as actual lawyers versus Legal Eagle versus who knows what. So take everything I'm saying with a healthy grain of salt and try to not take anything I'm saying as legal advice, I guess, is my main point or takeaway over here. But that's going to be the Bitoku insert, the Bitoku Folded Space insert from Top Shelf Gamer. Again, I'll have links to everything down below. And Bitoku, I really need to actually sit down and play at some point. We'll get to that soon enough. But first, let's go ahead and show you the Antike Duellum upgrades over here and the way I've upgraded this game. Now, Antike Duellum also has another version called Antique or Antique 2, which I highly recommend if you want a area control game that'll accommodate a bunch of players. Excellent game. For me, Antike Duellum gives me the Antique experience, but a 2-player experience. And I don't find I have a lot of area control games that I particularly love at 2 players, so I actually got rid of Antique and kept Antike Duellum. I will say the upgrades I'm about to talk about will work just as well for either in the game. And effectively, they're going to be upgraded tokens, and I'll show you the before and after what we have. But in Antique, you're basically working on this map over here. This is designed from Matt Gertz, the designer of Concordia, is probably what he's most known for. But he's done a whole bunch of games. And in the game, you're basically in the, I think the Mediterranean? I'm not actually sure exactly where you are. But you're in this map over here, and you're moving your piece around a rondel to generate resources. So you're frequently moving around this rondel, trying to generate resources, while you build up your economy, while you spread outwards over here, while you effectively try to take down your opponents by managing your science and scientia, or your marble, your temples, trying to manage all those things better than the other players. We have a whole bunch of cards over here, which are nicely sleeved with Sleeve Kings is my go-to brand there. Then we have the individual player pieces, as well as the walls and the building locations and markers, which we're not heavily going to focus on. These are nice wooden pieces. These are not upgraded. These just are, so to speak. They just are what they are. But then from there, we also have the upgraded bits, which I'm going to show you what the game gives you, and then what I upgraded them all to. So, we have the temples, wooden temples over here as well. But as far as what the game gives you this bag of resources, which is going to be all of these, giving you, we have 4 different resources and economies in the game that you're generating as you go through it. You're going to have your marble in the game, which is used to build temples and walls. You have your gold, which is used to recruit military units, as well as scientia to gather more science. You have your iron, which is used to bring military units into play, which is essential. You need all that. And then you have your coins, which acts as a wild, and sometimes as an expense you have to incur. And these are the resource tokens that you have in the game. This pile of resources is what you're given to actually manage all that, which works. Nothing wrong with it at all. I've loved Antike Duellum for a long time, just fine with these resources. But a few weeks ago, I pulled it out, having not pulled it out for nearly 2 years. And I was like, you know what? I feel like this game needs an upgrade. And so I gathered some things to replace the various components, starting off with these Roman coins. Again, these are everything I'm showing you here is findable on Top Shelf Gamer. But I bought these Roman coins specifically in currencies of 1, which Top Shelf Gamer will often sell you bundles of coins. So you have 5s, 3s, 1s, or 10s, or whatever. But they often let you buy 1s on their own in general, which I think was very helpful, because this is not a game where you really need the multiples. The multiples would just get in the way. You rarely ever have 5. Sometimes you'll have 3. So really having multiples is not helpful. So I highly recommend just the 1s, but we got just these ones of these metal coins over here, which I'm going to show you them. That's going to be that over there, and we have this over here as far as the 2 sides of the coin. That's going to be your sides of the coin over here. But these are just nice solid coins, which effectively are like pennies-ish, almost. I actually had these other pirate coins that I was using at first, but I decided I like these better, so I got these. And so the pirate coins had a little bit of a navigation symbol, and there's a lot of water and movement and ships in the game, so I was fine with it there. But these pirate coins over here are much better. I bought like 30 coins. You never need 30 coins, honestly 10 coins is plenty. I just told you a second ago, like, you rarely ever have more than 3. In rare cases you have 5. I think 10 coins would have been plenty. I think I got 30, which is complete overkill. You probably are fine with 10 coins if you really want to go crazy. Remember, this is a 2-player game. At higher player counts, if you're doing Antique 2, you might need to add more resources. But for Antike Duellum, since I don't think you'll ever need more than 10 coins, I wonder what the rulebook even includes. I can't imagine you need more than 10. But these coins over here are a solid improvement from those base bits. Then from there, we have metal, iron, and marble. Now marble, this is actually the first time I got marble from Top Shelf Gamer. I didn't know they had marble, but I didn't have it in my collection, because I proxied some metal and iron from other games to see if I liked the feel, and I very much did. Sometimes when I tried deluxified resources, sometimes it feels like it should be an upgrade, but it won't actually be an upgrade when you sit down to table it. In this case, very much feels like an upgrade, but I want to try out, and so I did. And I bought this marble over here. And this marble, I don't know how well you can see it over here, but it's got nice and rounded edges and bits on it. So it's got that degree of like realness to it. Like you can see the chipped aspect. These feel like tokens of marble that you can collect and gather. And you need some marble, but you don't necessarily need a ton. The resource you're going to need the most of if you play Antike Duellum is probably the gold. That's the one I find that is often saved up and then traded in large batches, versus the iron and marble usually get spent a little faster. Maybe 10 a piece is plenty, like I don't know the exact number. Again, I'd rather have a little more than a little less, but gold is the one I have by far the most of. But either way, here we have our iron nuggets over here. These used to be what I used for iron in Castles of Burgundy. If you ever play Castles of Burgundy, if you're owning the Silverlings, I used to use these as Silverlings in Castles of Burgundy. One of the first deluxifications and upgrade videos I did, I think I did that. I think I showed you some of these for Silverlings. But they also work great for iron, and now that I have the Castles of Burgundy Special Edition, I don't need these for Silverlings. I use these for other games too. Anytime you have iron in a game, these work great. They feel very nice. They have a great feel to them, a heft, a presence, and it feels fun to generate your resources here. It feels less fun to spend it, but that is how it should be in a game. And then lastly, we have these gold bars. Now, fun fact, the iron comes in bars and the gold comes in nuggets. So if you wanted to swap it around, you could do so. For myself, or if you want to have both in nuggets or both in bars, you can play around with those configurations. I like the iron pieces and the gold ingots. That's my personal preference, but you have that complete flexibility to buy whatever pieces you want, because one of the things Top Shelf Gamer does is sometimes they give you these packs. These are so nice to hold and play with. Sometimes they give you these customization packs that you can go ahead and say, hey, I want the upgrade pack for, I don't know, Arkham Horror, the card game. Other times, on the other hand, you have to kind of make your own packs and realize, well, certain games use certain resources, and I can go ahead and build my own customization, which I very much did for Antike Duellum, building my own pack over there that I can utilize. Now with that, let's go ahead and show you War of the Ring we'll do last. Let's show you Zombicide, Undead or Alive over here. This is the entire Kickstarter everything stored in 2 boxes. Not a single thing is left out. I do have a box over here, but that box is empty. It's to fill the hole in the cubby so that you don't realize it's actually gone while I do this video, because the hole would be noticeable. But with that, let's go ahead and show you what we have for these boxes, because we have 2 boxes all set up of stuff. And these are very cool. This is actually a new insert system from Tinkering Paws, and I'm not 100% confident I'm using it, at least not yet, although I'll explain more about that in a second. So, Zombicide, Undead or Alive over here, and I will say I have a few of these inserts. I have 3 of them. I'll be showing you them one at a time over the next few videos, so you can get a sense of them. But also I'll have links down to the site down below so you can see specific ones. And if there are specific inserts you want to see, by all means let me know, and I'll let them know, and we'll see if I can highlight or showcase them. Although they do have videos on basically all their inserts if you want to see them that way. But with that, this is what we have over here, and I'll explain why I'm not even sure if I'm using it yet or keeping it, but I definitely like it with caveats. So, we have this over here. We have our cards all in this nice little box here. We have the map tiles under here. We have specific little monster miniatures in this box over here. And then let's pull everything out over here as we go through. We have some of our Steam tokens from the Steam Punk expansion. We have our dice in this little container. All our little tokens and bits in this container. And then we have our player trays underneath over here. And then just map tiles and rule books all the way down. And then over here we have a few more monsters specifically. These are all specific, by the way. I'll tell you that one of the things you want to be mindful of is some monsters are specific into specific locations. Many other things are not. We'll talk about those. Now, the first thing I'll say is I think they're a little bent and they don't feel great. They're the card dividers. I'm probably going to find other card dividers. I wish they had been a solid sheet of plastic instead of just the partial whatever. They fit into the container nicely, although I think the savings in the plastic cost isn't worth feeling like these are just not premium enough as you go through them. But either way, that's what we have over there. I should have one more Gatling gun behind the reference. So you have these card dividers over here. I have my various expansion cards that I haven't even unshrinked yet. The rest I haven't even sleeved, which is a shame. Then down here, we have a little tray for extra heroes. This is, I assume, I don't know why they have this over here. I don't know if they miscounted or if they weren't including the extra character pack in their insert customization. But effectively, if you're willing to have one loose miniature, and I think even that I could probably put into the other box. I'll take a look and see. I think there's space for another one. But here are some extra miniatures. If you want them, you can store them in this little container. This is a kind of an overflow tray, which has pros and cons to it. And then we have our zombies. We have our runners in this little thing over here. This is where our runners are as we go through it. And you can see the way this works is there are 2 layers of slides. So you can kind of just pull out these runners as you need them. You can you can basically just store this out, put it on the table in front of you, and you have your runners all lined up and slide them off as you need them. And at the end of the game, slide them back in. This part's fairly easy to do. Not a lot of thinking through it on that end. But it does get a little more work at some parts because over here, we have our giant tray of walkers. These are going to be your walkers. Same general idea as far as how you have them all stored in the tray. The one thing I'll note is some miniatures need to be specifically on certain levels. If you have a dress over here, you can't go on the lower down one. It'll get in the way. But you have to go on one of the higher tiers. So you're going to see that the dress zombies, and some others, but most of the dress zombies, have to be positioned on certain tiers in order to, the higher tier instead of the lower tier, in order to make it all fit. But past that, same idea. Just slide them off as you need them, and then put them back as you don't need them. That's going to be your zombie tray full of just, well, all your walkers that you have in the game. All stored nicely in this tray. Works beautifully the whole way. Like you can see over here, the way it's set up, works beautifully there. And we're not even showing you the other box with all the miniatures. Let me rephrase that. We haven't yet showed you the other box with all the miniatures, which we're going to do shortly. As soon as I put this back over here, like so, and then the dice tray down here, like so, and you can see all this. They give you all this information on the site, so you never have to really worry about forgetting what goes where, although, of course, it is going to be a pain if you're trying to deal with forgetting what goes where as you're cleaning up your, your board game and trying to figure out whose job it is to put what in what specific location. But I'll say this doesn't feel like it fits very nicely in there. I haven't figured out a better solution. Well, if I want to be technical, really, no. I was going to say replace the player tray, but I use all 6. It's not like I don't play with all 6 characters. I always play 6 characters. I have to figure out a better location to put that. It's for the campaign mode. I'll figure it out later. Right now, the way I have it stored on my shelf, I don't mind a little lid lift, but it's something to note just so you know what you're getting your hands on, because some of these things over here are expensive. Metal coins cost money. These tinkering paws inserts are not the cheapest. But as far as why I may not use them, so this is kind of a cheat, which is, well, let me show you the last thing and then I'll explain why I might not use these. I think I am. I think I am with a small caveat. This is the mother load of all the miniatures that go in here. And again, the abominations are a little specific. The smaller abominations that you pull out this tray over here are just the various... Let me see if I need to pull this out in specific order sometimes. This one has to come out. It's going to be these specific abominations down in that tray over there. We have our specific, you know, gorilla and the little abomination there. These all fit in specific areas. These ones are also specific. They have to even be hugging each other. Very specific as far as how that goes. This one is less specific. These are all the small miniatures. The small remaining abominations slide now slide into there. There's 8 of them. You can make them fit pretty easily. And then we have our fatty tray over here, or I believe they're called brutes nowadays. We have our brutes over here, and you can see they all store nicely without falling over or falling out because of the way they are hooked into the base. But we have your long dead walkers and a few overflow walkers that are there. Those are only even necessary if you have the daily... whatever, the daily walkers. You never really need to dive into those. They're there. I don't really care. We have the horsehead guy. If you specifically want ones, you can figure out how you want to store them. But basically it stores your long dead walkers, your Gatling gun, and then all the fatties on that side, which means you obviously would have it on the table like this and just slide your fatties off as you need them and throw them back onto the pool as you don't need them. You could slot them back in as you're playing. I feel that would be tedious. I'd want to do it at the end of the game. The fun part is the heroes and survivors, which is the main reason why I think I want this. This system over here is how you store everything. We have all our horses in this individual container tray over here. All the horses, both mounted and unmounted, fit into this one box. So you have all your mounted miniatures at a glance. And then we have 2 trays for our survivors, plus 3 from that core box. And this is why I want these offhand. Because offhand, if you basically are looking for specific miniatures, because I don't know about you, but the way I do it is I grab a card from the box and I choose which miniature I want based on the card and the art, and then it's time to find it. And I don't keep these in their plastic trays. The way I've had this kept until now is in plastic baggies in the box. And while that's a good system and it has its pros and cons, the one area where it's bad for is when you're trying to find specific survivors, you have to dump all the miniatures onto the table, root through them, find them, versus now, I'm pretty sure if you want to find a specific survivor, I have not tested this yet, but I'm pretty sure you're able to just look through this and kind of eyeball which one will fit the bill, and then take that specific one off. Obviously, you have to slide off the row, and I will say in some cases, you might have to slide off adjacent ones too, depending on how weapons get in each other's ways over here. But I think this is the best system for finding out where survivors are, although obviously do not dump it down because that was a mistake. I thought I could like stop it, and even that I couldn't stop it over there, so I may have let some slide there. Not may have, there's no question. And I will say, there's definitely room for more miniatures here, which means I should go back to that box. Let me see, we have room. I think I messed up. I gave them a hard time. I think I messed up. We have, I don't know how I did this, but effectively, if you look over here, did I miss putting the box? No, I think I messed up. So over here, we have a full complement on this side just fine. But on this side, I don't know how I missed it, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 miniatures that can go into that slot that I somehow missed. So, I done messed up. 8, it looks like 8. There's 8 miniatures that I can put into these slots that I just never did somehow. So that overflow container, I don't know why that's there. I'm going to fix that later to have them all in a single spot. I don't know how I missed those when I was filling this up. Either way, so what are the pros and cons of this insert system? The pros obviously are good storage with protected miniatures. Even if you paint these over here, this is going to be a better system for controlling and managing painted miniatures. So just all around a good thing as far as that goes. The main con for me is that I do let my kids play with this game, and my kids like playing with this game a lot, and dumping everything back into a bag is faster than slotting them back onto these rails. I think I still like the system enough that I'm going to hold on to it, but I will know for sure when I officially give my kids the next playthrough of this game. When the next time my kids get to sit down and actually table this and see, you know, what the cleanup is like, that's how I'll know for sure whether I like it or not. That's going to be a Tinkering Paws insert for Zombicide Undead or Alive. They have a lot of these systems out there, and again, I will be showing you a few of them over the next few months. The next one, well, we'll figure out. Anyways, that's going to be that, which means it's time for the last thing to show you, and the last thing to show you is going to be a bit of a mess just because I want to show you on the actual table, which means we need to pull out War of the Ring. We also need to pick up the pieces of things I just dropped on the floor. But basically, this is coming to you from Evil Toymaker, and they make a bunch of upgraded components for a few games, including Gloomhaven, including War of the Ring, including Battle for 5 Armies, and we're going to go ahead and show you all these. Why do we have unpunched bits over here? We have unpunched bits. I hope they don't actually matter. We'll deal with that later. But for right now, what does matter is we're going to be putting this board on the table. This is a game I've never played, and a game I have no idea if I'm even keeping. It's from the same designer as Dune Warfare Arrakis, and I know from Devin Talks Tabletop, that he prefers Dune Warfare Arrakis over this. Now, I also know that people are going to hate on him for that, because that's what happens when you don't love a popular game. And Devin did like this one, and I just assume my taste will align with Devin. The table on this is insane. Look at the table on this. There's no room at all for any sort of sense of normalcy. Let's try to pull this down a bit as I try to figure out how I want to display this. There's also Army Men, but I don't know if I'm going to bother doing the army of that stuff. I'm just going to show you all this, because what we have right now is we have bits that will go on the board in all kinds of different ways. So for example, this is going to be a painted piece over here from Evil Toymaker for War of the Ring. Now, I have not played this game, so I'm only going to be dumping things down the board, but in mostly the wrong areas. So assume everything's in the wrong area unless you're confident it's right. I just want to get you a sense of what these pieces are like over here, as far as like the quality of painted miniatures for these pieces over here. You can see it finally focused over there. This is going to be going down over here. I believe we're going to have a matching one down somewhere. I don't remember exactly where this is. Maybe it goes like this or something, or like that. I don't know exactly. This probably goes ish like this. It feels like it fits on that board in this zone. You can't even see. Let me try to zoom out a bit so you can see more of the board as we go through it. And then we have all these other pieces. So you have this piece over here. These are all pre-painted pieces. Let's see if we can focus a bit as we show you this. Just focus. There we go. That's going to be the piece over here, a tree with all the associated fuzz that you'd expect. And we're going to dump that down into Fangorn. Why Fangorn? Because it looks like it belongs there. We have this specific one which has tiny little huts on the top. Look at the little huts on the top of that village. Look at those little tiny villages on top of this over here. That might be Rivendell. It feels like it could be Rivendell. Where's Rivendell? Rivendell's over here. We're going to dump that over there. Don't know if it belongs there or not. We're putting it there. We also have the Eye of Sauron over here. I think that's not Eye of Sauron. Sorry, my bad. This is the Eye of Sauron, and we have Isengard's Tower. Is that what it is? Forgive me if my lore is not 100%. This is definitely the Eye of Sauron, no question about that. But I believe this is the Tower of Isengard. I think it feels like it is, right? That's where Gandalf was trapped on top of, although the ratio of those is a little off. So we're going to put this down over here, somewhere in here, because it feels like it should be in here. I don't know if exactly it is. And where is Saruman's, my Lord of the Ring knowledge is definitely not up to date. I don't know. Moria, Dol Guldur, Southern Mirkwood. Why do I not know where Saruman's... I think it might be Dol Guldur. Maybe. I don't know. We're going to put it there and let me know how wrong I am in a second. We also have these steps over here, and I have no idea where these steps are. These feels like these steps of Mount Doom, and the cracks of Mount Doom. This is a very nice piece. Look at that paint over there. And this over here. And this step, by the way, is expensive. It's worth noting. That's going to go down there. And let's zoom in and drop out more so you can really see everything a bit more. But basically, this set is definitely going to run you a pretty penny. It's, I believe, $260 for everything. Although you could pick and choose certain things you do and don't want. This probably... Uh-oh. I may have just knocked a small piece of tuft. I knocked a small piece of tuft. We'll have to deal with that. You got to be careful with these. This will probably go down over here. It feels like it goes down in this particular zone. Then we have these other mountains that go across the board in different areas. Where do we have? We got tiny little mountains everywhere. This probably goes down over here or something like that. You got to look for the areas where you have specific lines of stuff. This probably goes down over here because that's where the sight line is. We're going to put that tower there, which probably does not go there. Let's put that in the woodland realm. Why? Because it feels like it should go there, even though it almost certainly doesn't. We're going to put this down. This should probably go... I don't know where this one goes. This one goes somewhere. Definitely somewhere on the board. Oh, here we go. Here we go. That's on that pathway over here. We have another pathway up here. So you can see how these all do have specific places where walls go in this region. This one goes like that over there, which I don't even know if I put it there or not, but somehow ended up there. And then we have another wall section, which is going to be this one over here. And I'm missing this one. This one should go over here, perhaps. Maybe, I guess. I mean, it definitely has that markers. But then we have more stuff. We also have... Whoops. Definitely need to be careful with these, because that's not me being careful with them. We have over here. This is going to be, I can't remember what it's called. Gondor? Is that Gondor? Is this Gondor over here? These are the walls. The walled city of Gondor. Which means it probably has to go, like, somewhere here. I don't remember exactly where Gondor is in this game. We have... Not game. In the lore of the Lord of the Rings. Gondor is, like, around the same area. Dale, Erebor, Iron Hills. We have Helm's Deep, Edoras. Where's Gondor? I feel like I should know where Gondor is. The Horns of Gondor. I feel like I was right by I remember it being like right around here, but I don't remember. Is it an actual place in the map? Helm's Deep? It's not Helm's Deep, but we should have Helm's Deep too. Where's Helm's Deep? It's going to be Helm's Deep. This might be Helm's Deep over here. That might be intended to be Helm's Deep. I'm not certain. It could be. We're going to dump it down to Helm's Deep just in case. Why not? We'll have a few more. This looks like the wall. Speak, friend, and enter. Maybe it's that. Maybe if I can focus. Let's see. There we go. That might be for over there. We're just going to start dumping things down to random areas just so you can see them on the board because I don't know where they are. This is a beautiful piece over here because we have a few pieces like this. Look at the sheen on that. Look at the sheen on that piece over there as far as the way that is like painted and also has a bit of a additional spot on it. We could put this somewhere by the sea. Let's put this by, I don't know. We'll put it by Dol Amroth, where I don't know where it belongs at all. I'll figure all that stuff later. We got the heart over here. Got another bit of a sheen over here as far as how that looks. That looks like the speak, friend, and enter. So we're going to put it in the Mines of Moria over here, where it totally may or may not belong. We have this spot over here, which again, another waterfall area. We also have the helm. This is like the wall, the gates to Nearest Doom, whatever. We gotta put that over here, like so. It's gonna be the gate area. Maybe it goes there, maybe it doesn't. Who's to really say? The people who actually know how to play this game, which is not me. We have the hobbitses. The hobbitses over here. This is gonna be your hobbit house over here. Let's see if we can zoom in and scroll, capture that. There we go. There we go. We're going to put that down in the Shire because it feels like it could be the Shire. This we don't know at all, so we're just going to dump it down somewhere with water. We're going to put it into Dale. Feels like there's a stream going on there. I'm annoying so many people right now who know their lore and are frustrated by this. This is the giant guy. This is like the giant guy who has, there's two of them. There's two of them. The people that Frodo passes by. Although weren't they like facing the, were they facing the, maybe I'm thinking of different people. But these are large people. We'll put them down at the gates of the harbor over here. Is that where they go? Almost certainly not, but they are very cool. And then we have this, which we'll put down over here. This, which we'll put down, we'll show you this one first. It looks cool. It's got a little miniature lighthouse. It's got that nice little feel. I like the little painted kind of style over there. And then lastly, we have two more. We have these, and these are the last two spots as far as the types of things they have. And they all have their specific areas, but we're going to just dump them down into specific regions on the board and just hope that in some way, shape, or form, this captures your imagination. As we have armies of men charging across the battlefield, you know, little hordes of just assaulting each other on these battlefield over here. There we go. You see? The difference between men and children are the price of their toys. Look at that. Look at that beautiful visual aesthetic of a game I have not played. But I want to. I do want to play the game. I was hoping to play it this past weekend. I'm hoping to dive, maybe early September is probably when I'm playing this one next. We'll hope to get into it. But either way, that's what we have over here. That's going to be the last thing. So we have some inserts. We have Tinkering Paws inserts for Zombicide, Undead or Alive. We also have, ooh, what are these? Ooh, we have our heroes from Lord of the Rings, our actual characters. Ooh, I'm going to put this back now before I ruin anything. I need to play War of the Ring at some point. Also, the downside of this, in addition to the cost, is going to be the storage aspect, because everything here has to obviously be stored, which is a whole different challenge, because it will not fit. If I get rid of the insert, I'm going to mess around with some things. I'm going to see if it fits in the box if I get rid of the insert, because that would be pretty cool if it does, so I'm going to go ahead and try that. In the meantime, until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.